This is SWBC Mortgage's Dallas Cowboys Crosstalk. Check this out. Broadcasting live from the Cowboys.
Now you're live.
At the Star in Frisco. Brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. The National Medal of Honor Museum. Join the mission at mohmuseum.org. Buffalo Wild Wings. If it's game day, Buffalo Wild Wings is the place to be. Alltech Lansing. Just listen with Alltech Lansing. Perfecting sound since 1927. And by SWBC Mortgage. Customized solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit SWBC.com. Now your hosts, Nate Newton and Bobby Belt.
Happy Thanksgiving Eve, everyone. Welcome to Cowboys Crosstalk live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, DallasCowboys.com, and all other associated social media platforms. We are live from the Cowboys Club, the Star in Frisco. I'm Bobby Belt from 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, the radio flagship home of the Dallas Cowboys. Tonight, I'm joined by my 105.3 The Fan teammate, Blake Elliott. As always, we've got the three-time Super Bowl champion, six-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton with us here. And our special Cowboys alumni this evening is a 7-year NFL veteran, former first-team All-Pac-12, and spent 3 seasons with the Cowboys where he was Rod Marinelli's favorite player there for a little while. I felt like one of his all-time favorites. It is defensive tackle Antwaun Woods. Antwaun, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Absolutely. It's great to have you back here. And I see you got the LA hat on.
Yeah.
And we always like to talk about everybody's journey to the NFL and how they ended up getting there. And you were somebody who grew up in a rougher part of the Los Angeles area. I know you grew up in Baldwin Village.
Yes, sir.
And you've talked before about having you fell in with the wrong crowd, and then you had a moment of awakening, I guess, either right before high school or while you were in high school, and that kind of changed your trajectory.
Yes. It was just growing up, in a challenging neighborhood in Los Angeles. Not a lot of resources, just dealing with what comes with that type of neighborhood. A lot of corruption, a lot of poverty. And it just, things like football that gives you, an outlet to be able to, move on and see better things in life. So definitely fortunate I was able to be good enough to play football and just to experience new things that got me out of that predicament.
Not just good enough to play football, but I remember there was a player, I won't say who he was, but there was a player coming out of college about 10 years ago, and I knew the college coaching staff really well that dealt with him. And he had some problems. He went undrafted, but he ended up with a team, and when he was there, he just kind of went AWOL, left, never was able to see his career through to the end. And I remember I asked his coach, I said, what happened to him? Why, he was so talented. And he told me, he said, for a lot of those guys, they grow up in the hood and they end up loving the hood a little too much. And they get to this level, even once they're here and they've made it a little bit, it's hard to stay away from it. And they feel a need to get back. What kept you from going back to that lifestyle that you really fell into at one point? What kept you saying, no, I'm focused on this and this is what I want to do?
Really, honestly, I was the rare few that had a father. So even though I would go the wrong direction, I still had a father to chastise me. So it always kept me on a straight enough narrow to never go in too deep or to never get in the worst situation. So definitely blessed enough to have a great dad to make sure he was always on me. And it's just, being with the right crowd. Certain neighborhoods, like when you're a real resident and a lot of the people in the neighborhood, they see you doing good things, they would be mad at you for, wasting that opportunity or, embarrassing your family and not taking full advantage of an opportunity that most people in that neighborhood would pray for. So it's about having the right community, the right people around you, and just refocusing, bro. Just refocusing because it's not easy. We all love what comes with it. It's a family thing, but it's just being around the right people and constantly making the right decisions over and over again.
Nate, I know your path to the NFL. You talked about how hard you had to fight to get to where you wanted to be, and you had we talked last week. Had Too Tall Jones who was talking about him and Randy White going to bat and telling Jimmy Johnson, hey, don't give up on this guy. He's going to be there. But you got cut in Washington and ended up in Dallas and stayed around the league for a long time. Do you remember seeing any of those guys when you were coming up of like, man, if he could just lock in, he would be able to stick, and he never found that focus.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. That's just life. You see guys all in your neighborhood These guys he probably know that could have been on this level. Basketball, football, track, what it's just that's just life. You know, I tell people it's stories like that come and go every day. It's guys on this roster right now with the Cowboys. You can get about 5 of them. That is life. But what I like what he said is that he had not only his father and mother and father that always tried to push him in the right direction, he had a community. That is what is missing in most of all of these kids right now. They don't have a community. They don't have a school or a community that backs them. You heard Ed last week say a lady sold her car, her sedan, her nice car, to go out and get a used station wagon. It was the community. They weren't going to let you fail, even though he was running with the boys.
Sure.
I understand that. He still had to walk that thin line. Okay, I'm going to hang with y'all, but I got to be in, or I got to go do this. I can't let this person down. So I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy for you.
How much did that help you two? Because, I mean, DeMar DeRozan, I know from the NBA, he's told the story before about how he said he knew that he grew up in a bad neighborhood, but he knew that there were always people there who were like, hey, we're looking out for him. Like you said, don't step out, don't cause problems, like just follow your path because you got better than this. So how much did it become not just people looking out for you, but you being like, I'm not going to disappoint what they're working to help me achieve?
Well, it becomes how I actually look at this a lot, especially years ago dealing with the Ja Morant situation, you know, and things like that. I think it's a difference between certain people that grew up in the neighborhood and certain people that was actively involved in the neighborhood. Some people are just residents. So, yeah, you lived in the hood and you was a resident of the hood, and then you make it, and it's like, oh, yeah, I made it out the hood. But you never was actively in the neighborhood. So that's why you see a lot of guys that make it and they still seeking validation from the hood, and which is not the way to go about it. But when you was a person that was actively in your neighborhood and everybody know you, and now this lady knows your dad because he was actively in the neighborhood, it's different. You know, they see the opportunities. They see, okay, now you're doing something. So now it's not only your father and yourself keeping you accountable, you have people in the neighborhood keeping you accountable. I had a struggle with this because I went to USC. USC is 5-10 minutes from my neighborhood, right in the worst of LA. So it was challenging because I'm going to practice, I'm going to class, and then on my free time I'm going to hang with the homies. And then it took one of our OGs, his name is Shell Dog. And he started to see me come around too much, and he told me, he was like, you don't like you can't be half 1 foot in, 1 foot out in this. Like, let us do this. We and these guys right here want to be where you at. Like, don't mess that up trying to hang with us or be over here. Like, let us do this, hang around in the hood all day. You take your butt up to school and be in class and be around that environment. So it was guys like that and people around me who was like a constant reminder, and it starts to stick with you, like, how much of a fool would I look like if I just messed up this opportunity?
Antwon, I'm curious about this when it comes to a financial situation. When you're in the league and then even after the league, how do you deal with when you go back home? They see you on TV. They see you making money. How do you deal with shelling out money to intermediate family might be different, but the homies, maybe great-grandma, cousins, and being able to say no but still keeping that relationship?
You know what? I really love this conversation because when you're a real person, you don't have to deal with that. Mm-hmm. I've never, ever had a situation or that go down for financial of having to pay homies. No, because when you really grow up in the area, it's like you can't – I'm one of y'all. What do you look like? Why do I need the responsibility to pay you money or to be cool? It's just you're paying for validation. That happens to the guys who's just residents who's still trying to seek – I don't have to seek validation because I walk the same walk and I talk the same talk. I just so happened to get an education and play football. So I never had that situation. I never had that because I'm really from an area. I don't have to pretend because more people will talk about it more than me. I don't have to broadcast, hey, this is where I'm from. I'm from the hood. I struggle. No, everybody, more people talk about that more than me because when you actually go through it, it's the realness of it. So I've never had that situation, bro.
But I also remember you were one also who you weren't just giving back to your friends or whatever else.
Yeah.
You would always go back and give back to the community. So I know that one of the things I remember, one of these off seasons when you were here, you went back to Baldwin Village. You had like a block party that you threw and you put on.
Lit.
How important were doing things like that to you to just say, hey, thank you back to this community that helped keep me where I needed to be?
It was my way of giving back to my community, right? Yeah, I can go right here in Frisco. I can go right here in Dallas, but I didn't grow up in Dallas. I grew up in L.A., so it was my way of saying thank you to my community, to the parents, to a lot of my friends' moms that watched me grow up, that watched me run these streets, that see me made it, that I actually know. You know, it's easy to just donate to a cause or just be a volunteer here.
Yeah.
But these people has literally seen me my whole life. They know my entire family. So it was my way of giving back to them. I say, look, it's 4th of July. I'll take the stress out. Everybody just come. We got fireworks, barbecue, backpack giveaways, everything for the kids. Let me just take the stress off the community. We had probably over 500 people there. It was 200 people from Cowboys fans and USC fans, and then there was 300 gang members and people active in the community. So it was being able to see that entire environment together, like, okay, I got people I went to USC with, people I grew up in my neighborhood with, and people were scared to park because there's so many things going on. So it was being able to have that, and it turned out great. It was definitely a blessing and something I'll never forget for sure.
That is the voice of former Cowboys defensive tackle Antwaun Woods. He is our guest tonight on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. We've got Nate Newton here as well as always, and my 105 Through the Fan teammate Blake Elliott here. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about Antwan's time here in Dallas, how he ended up with the Cowboys, and how a conversation with Rod Marinelli really locked him into place and sustained his NFL career. That's next on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
To learn more. SWBC Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 9741, an equal housing lender.
Heck of a win, fellas.
Coach, the Cowboys beat us by 30 points.
No, I'm talking about my dog. He started eating fresh food from the farmer's dog and has lost 7 pounds.
Your senior dog with joint issues?
That's right, Steven. The pre-portioned meals of real meat and veggies help keep him lean, active, and feeling like a puppy again.
That's incredible. But what about the game?
The Cowboys smoked us. Hit the field, run some sprints.
Get 50% off your first box of the
2 minutes.
The Dallas Cowboys, only at thefarmersdog.com/Cowboys.
Get ready for the most electrifying holiday event, the Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza, powered by Reliant at the Star in Frisco. From November 21st to December 20th, join us every Friday and Saturday night for a performance featuring the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, Dallas Cowboys Rhythm and Blue, Rowdy, Santa Claus, and appearances from your favorite Cowboys legends. Best of all, the show
90 seconds.
to the public. For details, visit thestardistrict.com. Don't miss out on the holiday magic.
Hey, Cowboy fans. Keith Davis here, former Cowboys safety.
Keith Davis into the end zone.
You know what separates champions from the rest? Making the right move at the right moment. With blockchain.com, that's never been easier. The Cowboys became America's team by striking bold when it mattered most. Now it's your turn. Invest like your icons with blockchain.com. Visit blockchain.com/cowboy.
1 minute.
Get started and learn more. That's blockchain.com/cowboy.
Some things aren't just bigger in Texas. They're also better. Like football, barbecue, and bread. Since
45.
8 generations across the Lone Star State have turned to
40,
Mrs.
gotcha.
Baird's bread. Time and time again, when it comes to standing for quality and freshness and a taste as true as Texas, Mrs. Baird's. Born in Texas, baked in Texas. Since
30.
I'm home.
Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you...
Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finesse. 20.
Play. Here's your wine.
All right.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask?
15.
We're coming
That's
back
why
here,
if there's
Nate.
a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service.
Go Cowboys! WBC Mortgage's Dallas Cowboys Cross
Live.
Yeah, check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco.
At SWBC, customized solutions for individuals and businesses are just a click away. Visit SWBC.com to learn more and start your next adventure. Welcome back to the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco for the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. We are coming to you live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, DallasCowboys.com, and all other associated social media platforms. I'm Bobby Belt from 105 Through the Fan in Dallas, joined by my 105 Through the Fan teammate Blake Elliott. We got the 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time Super Bowl champ Nate Newton here with us, and our special Cowboys alumni this evening is 7-year NFL veteran defensive tackle Antwaun Woods. Antwaun, thank you for joining us again. And, you came out of USC. You've already made mention of that. And I just had to ask you if, during the break, if you had a good Coach O story, because Coach O obviously was their coach in the defensive line. I'll tell you, Nate, my favorite Coach O story I've ever heard, it's the one he tells. He told Dan Patrick that he said he used to recruit kids to USC, and he'd go out to this pier. I can't remember which one in California, but he said he'd start telling people, like, see that's Tom Cruise's house there. He'd start just pointing out houses, and then later on he'd tell people, like, I had no idea if that was their house or not. I'm trying to give them the Hollywood experience out here. But, it was a nice closing, finishing piece. But, Antwaun, you got any good Coach O stories from your time?
Yeah, I do. It takes back. We all know Coach O, one of his specialties is recruiting. He know how to recruit really well. So I take it back to when I was coming to USC. I was getting ready to come there, and we did like an in-home visit. It's when the coach come to your house, And obviously, like we've been talking about, I live in a rough neighborhood, we had roaches growing up, so I spent the whole day kind of preparing and just getting ready for Coach O. So we're cleaning up, trying to make sure the house is clean and we're well off. So it gets to where he's telling me he's outside. So now I'm panicking. So I'm like, oh man, like no offense, it's like white Coach Orgeron's outside in this predominantly black ghetto neighborhood. So I'm like, oh man, let me hurry up and get outside so I can kind of, ease the awkwardness. So long story short, man, fast forward, I come outside, Coach Orgeron's in the front. Man, he has like 10 people around him, 10 like active hardcore gang members. And he's like, I'm looking for big Antwaun Woods. And I'm like, what the hell? So I come out, man, it just tripped me out how I was just paranoid for him, and he actually was very comfortable. And he actually just brought an energy that just attracts people. So from that moment on, I just knew, like, that was my guy. And besides Rod Marinelli, he's been one of my favorite coaches. For sure.
I love it. You get the natural transition there. So you went to USC. You ended up going undrafted, ended up with the Titans for a couple years. You got to Dallas, and you were somebody who, in all honesty, whenever you were looking at 2018 and people were probably making their roster projections at the beginning of camp, people didn't know who Antwaun Woods was here, and then they probably didn't think as much about it. But I know you had talked about that when you were here, you used to tell the story of Rod Marinelli coming to you and telling you, like, there's no reason you shouldn't be on an NFL roster, but you got to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. Talk about that talk you had with Rod Marinelli and just the impact that he had on you, because so many guys always talk so glowingly about Rod.
Yeah, definitely a blessing, man. That guy's, man, he's special, man. Definitely a blessing. But it came back to the workout. I came to a workout here, and obviously Big Cat and Rod, they put me through a workout, and they seen like, okay, this guy's not right. Like I was working out like I was pissed off. So they ended up signing me. And as we walking off the field, Rod Marinelli pulled me aside. He said, there's no reason why you shouldn't be on an active NFL roster. He told me, don't eat your way out of NFL, because I was heavier. I was in Tennessee where I was a 3-4 nose tackle. I was playing for Dick LeBeau. I was a 0 nose. So I'm like big, so I'm 330, so because you have to please your coordinator, so I'm big, and then Rod Marinelli, I'm like, well, I definitely won't eat my way out the NFL, but the fact that you see that, I'm for sure not about to eat my way out the NFL. So I made it adamant to like, all right, this is the guy who need me to lose weight. I'm about to lose weight. And I immediately just got on it. So I started practicing with the team, just started showing flashes, and he gave me a goal. He was like, man, you need to lose weight, and we think you can be all right. So I said, all right, that's it. Like, just lose weight. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think he wanted me to come back to training camp like 310. I showed up at 330, and the first day of training camp, I showed up at like 304, and I couldn't wait to see him. So like we getting ready for the conditioning test. I'm like, hey coach, like, guess how much I weigh? And he was like, and then he was like, what? And I'm like 303, and he gave me the most serious look, and he said, that's all I need to hear. Like that's all he needed to hear. So from that point on, Man, he rode me every day. He rode me every single day. I don't know, because I come from a guy like Coach Orgeron. I love tough coaching. So a guy like Rod Marinelli, who taught Coach Orgeron, he's even tougher. So I was able to get the ultimate tough coach. So he would ride me so hard to where point that most people wouldn't respond well, but I did. He knew how to talk to me. He knew how to push me, and I just shut up. I just shut up and just worked. I was just working. I was just like, even the first day of pads, like, because I was here in the spring, I wasn't sure I was gonna make it. I'm like, oh, these guys look great. Like, I wasn't sure I was gonna make it, but that's T-shirt and shorts. So then we got to the first day of training camp, which now we're putting on pads. Now I'm able to show exactly what I could do. And what brings me to my guy right here. He don't even know this. Just, me, us players, we go to media. We read the comments.
Right.
We read what people talking about because it's validation. It lets you know if you're being talked about or not, or if you're doing good enough or not. So I remember the first day of pads. I remember he going in. He said, "Man, this is guy 64 is the human log. Like they can't move him in there." Yeah. And coming from a guy like that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm getting them talk. Like I just need him to talk. So from then on, Rod Marinelli just continued to push me every single day. One thing about Rod Marinelli, he'd never let you get comfortable. No matter, you could have 100 sacks. He would never let you get comfortable. And definitely he was a blessing to my career because it was definitely going downhill. And he gave me an opportunity that I was thirsty for. So definitely appreciate him.
Nate, it's interesting. Antwaun just said there, that tough coaching and those hard practices, a lot of guys don't respond well to that. I know that you've talked about how much they would ride you guys in the 90s. I remember Darren Woodson telling me once in an interview, he said that he said games were easy because of the way we practiced. Like the way we practiced was so hard. Similarly, Lewis Neal, a guy on the defensive line side, I remember he used to say, Coach Rod rides us so hard that like when we get to games, we all feel like this is easier than what Rod's had us do during practice.
1,000%.
And so talk about that, though, as like just an idea of like thinning the herd a little bit. Like, hey, you're getting the guys that you want because you're challenging them and pushing them here in a setting where a lot of guys just get too uncomfortable.
Well, the thing about it, just a different era, and I try not to compare because we were padded guys. These are unpadded guys. It's a lot of work as a coach and a scout now trying to bring a guy in here because we had to prove it. And we had to last and we had to stay healthy, and so we had to battle. So we actually had to, if you were a starter and I was second team, I actually had a chance to prove that I was better because we had on the pads and we practiced. Now it's more projection. So, but every 32 teams have to do it that way, whereas we may have ran a harder practice than the 49ers. I know we ran a harder practice than the 49ers. Minnesota may not practice at all compared to how even the 49ers practice. So, but now it's all one accord. So it's all about projection. It's all about where you're drafted at. Whereas a free agent guy now really has to have a break. Somebody got to get hurt. Something got to go wrong to give a guy that's at the bottom of the barrel a chance. Whereas with us, we could have been at the bottom of that barrel. If that coach liked us, that Coach Marinelli liked him, he was going to get a chance to ball. So it's a different era, different time, different way you talk to kids. You ain't finna MF no dude now. I'm just being honest. That dude would be
not
like,
these NIL guys necessarily.
Dude would be like, hey, dog, you ain't talking to me that way. You ain't gonna talk to me that way. You gonna get cut because you beat up the coach. Because he ain't gonna let you talk to him that way. So, he gonna fall into the tank and not even perform for you.
If people didn't have a chance to see you play, you also played a little bit of offense. Got to play fullback, block for Zeke. Just kind of talk about the differences of being in the defensive room the day before and then being able to get with the offense as well.
That was easy. I mean, if you're a smart guy and you study and you're on your ball.
You went to USC, dog.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not like you're just full-time offensive player. Like
How fun was it to be out there though during game day?
It was dope. It was dope because the way I felt about Zeke and the way I felt about Dak.
Yeah.
I got a picture, like I'm at fullback and like you see Dak, Zeke, and like, those some really good guys. So the fact that I got to be able to block for Zeke, be in the same backfield as Zeke, and Dak, it was an honor, So it was point. I didn't really want the ball. I wanted to just block for Zeke because they said run like you had the ball. So I was just run like I had the ball and lead block. But we did have a play called was a fullback, and it was a touchdown play. We practiced it. I didn't practice my celebration, and you know I was excited. Like I was just too excited. I was like 1 week, because every week on short yardage goal line we practice this play. So it's like every Friday I'm practicing me scoring a touchdown. So I'm like, all right, like I'm not tripping about getting the ball, but I'm gonna be on it just in case.
There.
So boom, sure enough, we're in the game, and call the play in the huddle. Oh, I'm fired up. I'm ready. I know I'm scoring over my excitement. And mind you, we never practice like audible in the play.
Yeah.
So we get in the play, then Dak audibles my play. He audible. I'm like, no way. So now you just said, like, how do you get prepared?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. so luckily I got some type of football knowledge. You know, the numbers. I don't know if he changed it to something 33.
Right.
I don't know, but I turned around with Zeke. I'm like, yo, what to do? And he kind of just, like, pointed right there. And I'm like, okay, he said 33. I'm assuming that's to the left.
Right.
You know, I'm about to just lead block to the left off the left guard. So that's exactly what happened, and we ended up scoring. But I was definitely pissed about him checking that play.
Do you remember who it was against or what year?
No, but I can find out.
You need to find out, because I need to go back and find this play, and I got to see if we can see him drop it. I'm like, oh man.
No, you're going to see me drop to one knee. I'm like, I had to process it. You know, you go through the process like, all right, audible. Okay, it's not that play anymore. So 33 sounds like it's to the left. So
did you say anything to them on the sideline after, like what happened?
I think we scored, so it was like kind of like that.
You just didn't bring it up?
Yeah, I think I might have got cut on the play. I don't know. Like, I was trying to lead block on the middle linebacker. I got cut.
Now, I love that we're going to talk a little bit ahead. I know Nate has got to be itching to talk about that Eagles victory on Sunday. So we're going to talk about that Eagles game coming up next segment. Before we go to that, though, you mentioned talking about playing with Dak and Zeke and what a special experience that was. And this always comes up when people talk about Dak, I feel like, in the media. The discussion of, well, what's the difference with him? And so often you'll hear guys who point to leadership and intangibles and different things like that. And I remember Brandon Cooks talking about this once after practice, where he said, if you don't know how valuable that is, you think that sounds like we're avoiding talking about something else. You just don't know how valuable everybody finds it when you've got that guy at that position. So just talk about, like, the difference that you feel that makes when you got somebody who can just command a locker room and lead a group like that.
Man, I'm so happy you asked me this question, because I get asked this question so much from people outside of football and outside to regular folks. Let me tell you something about Dak. Dak is my favorite quarterback in the NFL. Right, because I've been at other places and experienced other quarterbacks. And let me tell you something about Dak. One factor that Dak has that not a lot of quarterback has is he has the look. As a defensive guy, when you're going through a game and shit is not going well, excuse my language.
Catch that, Jacob.
Stuff not going well.
Let it stay.
Yeah.
Keep it.
As a defensive guy and stuff is not going well, you look over to the quarterback and you read his body language and you see, like, all right, what's his demeanor? What's his energy like? Dak is going to always have a look. You could be down 21 in the fourth quarter and Dak got the right look on it. Like, he still think he's going to win. We on defense might not think so, but Dak still believes. So that's why he became – and then the way he is as a leader, second to none. I think the world of Dak. I think the world of Dak. And I had even though I got a bone to pick with him because, my son is getting older.
Uh-huh.
And he asked me, like, hey, Dad, you know Dak Prescott? I'm like, yeah, I know Dak. That's my boy. Like, woo. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to FaceTime him. Dak ain't answered.
What time of day? What time of day?
To the building,
he's got the babies now.
No, I understand. He's a superstar. He's not worried about.
Do you come out? Do you come out?
Come out
to practice?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, bro, because you know Dak is Dak.
No. I'm just shooting. I'm just giving him stuff. Like, I know.
Giving him hell, yeah.
He's a superstar, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to answer my, but I know if I seen him, it'll be love. Like, you know.
All right, let's take our second break here. That's Antwaun Woods. He's joining us tonight on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. When we come back, Antwaun was just talking about the look. He had the look when they were down 21-0 to the Philadelphia Eagles this past Sunday, and they pulled that game out. Let's talk about that a little bit and also look ahead to the Kansas City Chiefs on Thanksgiving. That's next on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
SWBC Mortgage's
Live.
Cowboys Crosstalk.
Yeah, check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco.
Want to use what the pros use? Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit getjackblack.com today. Welcome back to the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco for the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. We are live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. I'm Bobby Belt from 105 through the Fan in Dallas. That's your radio flagship home of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm joined by my 105 through the Fan teammate Blake Elliott tonight. We've got the 3-time Super Bowl champ, 6-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton with us here as well. And our Cowboys alumni this evening is 7-year veteran defensive tackle Antwaun Woods. So, guys, we were talking about this a little bit going into the break there. Being down significantly on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles. And before we get into the specifics of the comeback, I'm curious about something for you, Antwon. So you were on that team in 2018. It was your first year here, where midway through the season, everybody felt like kind of in a lull, sitting here at 3-4, and they make the move for Amari Cooper, who comes in here and just lights a spark pretty quickly. First game against Tennessee, y'all lose, but after that, you guys go on an absolute run there for a while, and he is a big-time difference maker. And that feels like, you as a defensive tackle, I'm sure you're loving it, that feels like what they've gotten right here out of Quinnen Williams, who has just wrecked shop these first 2 weeks for them.
For sure. Definitely a big presence. Game changer, and it's night and day to how they've been performing on defense. And don't forget a guy like Kenny Clark. You know, Kenny Clark has been playing very well in this league. He's one of my good friends, and
I've been trying to tell him about it.
Yeah, because sometimes he do a lot of the hidden work that you don't see. You know, so having them two on the field together, and then with Osa, it just changed the dynamics of the defense. You know, they're playing the way they're supposed to be. So it was like great move by Jerry by finally getting a presence like Quinnen Williams in there. But really, I think Kenny Clark is a player. You just put two, to me, in my opinion, you put two elite D tackles on the same team together. And not to mention, two dogs for sure. And not to mention Osa, who's already a dog in himself, who's been coming along.
See, this is what I was trying to tell people. People thought I was so hard on Osa. Osa does not. And see, he probably, if he heard me say this years ago or weeks ago or whatever, he's not a 60-snap guy. Osa is a 35 to 40-snap guy. He dominates. When he can go into a game and let loose at 6'3", 285 pounds, now he's a terror. Whereas you was asking the same guy to play a 1 technique and a 3 technique with big old 400-pound dude, Deuce blocking him. He was not going to last. He was not going to. Now, this dude, his last 2 games, go check the PFF or whatever them.
You don't even need to do that. Just turn the tape on. You'll see it.
Bro, he's a different animal now. And so, bro, Clark, I tried to tell him Clark was eating up all of those double teams.
For sure.
Now you got to make a decision.
Yep.
Osa is going to be one-on-one. You're not going to double those because you got 2 dogs in the middle now, a 1 and a 3. You're going to have to double one of them, and that's going to free it up.
For sure.
Have you ever had that opportunity to be where you're not getting double teamed?
Oh, no.
Do you think you can on one hand the snaps you had against single teams?
No, I actually love double teams. I love them. No. And the thing about playing the nose tackle position is that you have to – it's a difference between – the play call, they double team the nose, and there's a difference between you demand the double team.
Thank you.
When you have guys in there that demand presence, that demand the double team, it changes the dynamics, right? So if you have a 1 technique, so think about the importance in Eberflus defense, the same as Rob Marinelli, the same tree.
Yep.
Right? That defense, the 3 technique has to be a guy.
Yeah. Yep.
So now let's say you have a nose tackle or whoever's playing the 1. I know a lot of them guys is interchangeable.
Right.
Whoever plays the 1, he's demanding a double team like Kenny Clark does and plays good blocks and plays well in there. Now you have guys like Osa and Quinnen that now you can show who you are. You're not stressed because you got 4 hands on you every play or they sliding in protection to you. Because, no, you have somebody that's in there that's doing the hidden work for you. And he's demanding because Lord helps you if you don't double team him.
That's right.
Because that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
If you're a guy in this league, especially a nose, if you're not getting double teamed, you have to be a factor. I'm not saying you got to blow up the play, get 100 sacks, but you have to be a factor. It should be something that you're doing that's affecting the play. So it's a difference between getting double teamed and demanding, but definitely the ad of Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark.
You see,
and,
Rubber, he can't stop moving.
Man, I'm like, it changed the defense.
So how different is it? We've seen the last couple of weeks some use 5 down man front with 5 defensive linemen, having Kenny, Osa, and Quentin out there.
Yeah.
What did you see was that a huge difference maker in that Philly game, making them go single blocks, and kind of your experience with 5-man fronts versus 4?
Oh, 5-man fronts that's what you do when you got dogs. You can't double team nobody. I just told you right now the name of the game was a demand to double team.
Yeah, right.
But what happens if by a lineman you can't double team nobody?
Right.
Everybody got to do their work.
Yeah.
So you got 5 guys with 5 people on them. Mind you, they not all been becoming, but pre-snap you think it is. So now it changes the thing. That's just Eberflus being smart.
Mm-hmm. The same dude y'all wanted to fire 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
not you. I'm just saying.
But that goes to tell you what happens when you bring the right pieces in. You have the right pieces, so now a coordinator can get a little bit freaky out there. He can be like, oh, man, let me go 5 down. I
really enjoyed it. That's why
I got 3 guys inside that can win at any moment compared to imagine when Kenny and Quentin wasn't here.
That's right.
And now Osa in there playing 80 snaps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And now y'all trying to let him get his money's worth because they gave him a little bit of money and you want to see Osa have 8 to 10 sacks.
Yeah.
But he in there tired. He's playing 70 snaps. They doubling him. There's nobody there that's demanding nothing. You know, when Parsons was here, he demanded something.
Right.
So why you think Osa became a guy?
Yeah.
Right.
There's other guys around you.
When you have
that
an A-plus player, the B player can
become the A player.
Flourish. That's when you got to go.
Yes.
Because the A players demand all the attention. And me, I was a B player, C+. C+. I want you. Go to D-Law. Go to Robert Quinn.
I'll take my one-on-one.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to make something
like
happen.
this dude, a 7-Eleven dude right here.
outside of Quinn and
what, 7-Eleven?
the gas station.
Your show, 7-Eleven on the fan.
Yes, sir, 7-Eleven on the fan.
You didn't get it. See, you didn't get it.
Outside of Quinn demanding the double team, what is something when it's an elite defensive tackle, nose tackle, that people watching on TV don't realize what they do for the other people on the football field?
It's a lot of unselfish, like, little work that you don't see, right? It's just one line. Number one is doing your job.
Yes.
That's hard within itself. Just do your job. Be in the right gap. Play the block the right way. That's hard. What happens, I think the Cowboys happened, there wasn't a lot of guys that's doing their job. A lot of misfitting, guys not going the right way. But when you bring veteran presidents, there's some guys that have a master's at doing their
standard
job.
at doing this.
You know, so it changes the whole dynamic. You know, so when you have guys like that that's in the middle, it changes. Now the DBs are not worried. You know?
How big a difference is it to – this is one of the things that we've been talking about a little bit. You know, we had Leighton Vander Esch on here a couple weeks ago, and Leighton had talked about, man, it's a difference to go to Logan Wilson and DeMarvion Overshown from what you'd been getting out at linebacker. To be able to just have that's big. You get Quinn in here, and by adding Quinn in, you're getting a different version of Kenny and Osa. And then for weeks, you had been without your safeties, Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson. So talk about just for a defense – like when you can go out there and just say the entire middle of the field is different at all 3 levels now, and it's better players than you had. Just talk about what a boost that can mean, how much it can change the dynamic of a defense.
Well, I think with the defense, right, you got to go with the system. The system of Eberflus is the whole system of that defense is it cannot be elite if the big guys don't run and the little guys tackle. That's the whole message of Eberflus. Rod Marinelli, all the guys before them. The big guys got to run, and you need a 3 technique that can play ball and can get home, and the little guys got to tackle. I think my biggest thing I see, one, is you got presence in the inside, right? You got some guys that work really hard that's keeping the hard edge. And then you got the little guys that's starting to come to the party. It seemed like, I don't know if the safeties came back that just made it a little bit better.
No, this is what happened, is they brought Quinny Williams in here along with Clark. And the first interview these guys did was, I'm going to do my job.
For sure.
For 8, 10, 12 weeks, I've been telling dudes, just do your job. I understand the Eberflus way. Yeah. Do your job. Guys were hijacking the scheme. Yeah. Now you're not allowed to hijack the scheme. Sure. Now go ahead on, my brother.
No, for sure. So now you got guys that, one, it's accountability.
Yes.
So before, you know, they were struggling, stopping the run, struggling to just put guys in the right place.
Yeah.
So now it's accountability factor. You got guys that you don't even have to think no more. You know Kenny going to be in the middle. You know Quentin going to be in the middle. You know they're going to disrupt. You know, so now you don't have to. Now the linebackers was playing free. Now the DBs are not. So they're not just thinking about fitting the run as much as they was early in the season. You know, sometimes the safety, you got coverage, but you also got to fit the B gap.
Right.
Yeah.
So if now you got interior guys that's not fitting right, and now your B gap is big, and you trying to cover a deep half too, like it confuses. It's just a train effect that can confuse from the top down.
It's such a when you look at 8 straight stops against the Eagles, which were massive. Even when you look at them going up 21-0, they're obviously. All right, there's a Turpin fumble in there.
Yeah.
The NFL came out later and said it was a mistake to call the roughing the punter. That drive should not have extended, so that extended a drive that they ended up scoring on. But when you look at this team the last 2 weeks and look at a defense that can get 8 straight stops against the world champs and an offense that can do what they want, obviously there's some odds stacked against you to get to the postseason now, but how much does it feel like if you get into the postseason, that's just a dangerous football team if you can play at the level you've played the last couple weeks?
I would say that they shouldn't think that far. They've been playing good ball the last few weeks. And like you said, 2018, Jason Garrett's biggest message, it was just week to week. We wouldn't care about the next week, the weeks after that, like how to see. We was 3-5. And he made a clear message. I remember in the team meeting, he was just like, yo, our back's against the wall. He kept tapping that wall. He played like The Rock, a clip of The Rock, saying like his back was against the wall. He played it every week. Every week on Wednesday and Monday. And he kept reiterating like our back's against the wall. And he kept smacking the wall. And the only way to go is that way. And we would just take slow steps and we would get there.
The thing that, and I told this on our podcast today, it's 2 differences. You can say you're desperate to get to somewhere, but if you've never been there before, how desperate can you be? The Kansas City Chiefs understand what desperation is. You know why? They've been there. They've danced that dance past the second round. A lot of these guys ain't danced even in the first round. So the desperation is different. Their backs against the wall. I'm with you. I'd rather play The Rock than to try to play let's get forward, because you can't get forward with someone you ain't never been. These guys got to gel together, keep doing your job, keep play by play, series by series, game by game. They don't have that. You can't go to a well you've never been to. You don't know how deep that well is. So we got to find out.
And they don't have the time to be feeling good about themselves.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good job, Eagles. Good job, division opponent. But you got them big dogs tomorrow on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you
do. That's overly desperate, too.
Yes. Look at that. Good professional broadcaster Antwaun Woods teasing ahead the next segment because we got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving tomorrow. Let's take our final break. When we come back, we're going to take a look ahead at that game a little bit and talk about what some of the keys to victory are. I know one thing. At the very least, Nate's going to tell us by one. At least by one.
Man,
at least by
that's
one.
all you got to do. Then you go to next week.
Let's talk about that next.
Break the wishbone tomorrow.
On the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
I'll take Lance.
Go Cowboys! SWBC Mortgage's Dallas Cowboys Crosstalk.
Yeah, check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco.
At SWBC, customized solutions for individuals and businesses are just a click away. Visit SWBC.com to learn more and start your next adventure. Welcome back to the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco for the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. This is our final segment, just the last few minutes here. We're coming to you live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. I'm Bobby Belt from 105 Through the Fan, the radio flagship home of the Cowboys. I've got my 105 Through the Fan teammate Blake Elliott here, the 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time Super Bowl champ, should be Ring of Honor, future Hall of Famer Nate Newton here with us. And our special Cowboys alumni this evening is 7-year NFL veteran defensive tackle Antwaun Woods. So they got the Kansas City Chiefs. They've got the team of the last probably 7-8 years, something like that, in the NFL. A guy who a lot of people believe could go down as being talked about as one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback of all time coming in here. It's been a little bit of a tougher road for them. And I think statistically, if you look at the way they've performed, they're actually playing better at times than they did last year. I know there was a poll done of NFL front office and coaches, people kind of like anonymously recently about the Chiefs. I think ESPN had done it. And their big thing was just, they said, the Chiefs are just not winning one-score games like they did last year. I think they were 11-0 in one-score games last year. They're 0-5 this year. So it's just completely reversed on them.
And they're having a hard time on the road.
Still a very dangerous football team, though, one that you would look at and go, this is not your typical 500 team rolling in here on a short week. This is absolutely a dangerous football team. So what are your thoughts, Nate, Antwon, what are your thoughts in terms of, like, this is the way Dallas needs to approach this game tomorrow?
I think it might be their biggest test so far. The Eagles game last week, that's a divisional game, and it's very important. And we were more excited to see it based upon how the first game went and just being a quality opponent. But I think just going about just what they're trying to do and how good they were looking, this is a good test for them. You got a team that's overly desperate, that's not used to being 500,
Yeah.
I think especially defensively, it's being able to can you contain, like you said, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it. They have a lot of weapons, and can you continue to play at a high level we've been playing at? It's a good test to, the quality and the investment that you've made, with Quentin and everybody and how it's been flowing lately. It'll be a great test for them. And then on the other side, how do you deal with Chris Jones?
Yeah.
We talking about a guy like Quentin Williams, and that's a guy like Chris Jones. How do you deal with that? So,
Nate, I'm curious, when you put your 1996, you guys, after winning those 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, didn't start the season the way you wanted to, and a lot of people, the narrative out there in the media at that time was like, this isn't the same Cowboys team. Do you remember trying to put yourself in kind of the Kansas City position right now? Do you remember teams approaching you guys differently during the week or feeling like, man, they don't respect us the way they should?
I'm going to tell you what is happening to Kansas City. For the last 6 years, they have played 2 to 4 extra games, depending on whether you go with a 16-game season or a 17-game season. They have always played 2 to 3 games more, sometimes 4 if they were a wild card. That is an extra season. Chris Jones, the quarterback, part of the offensive line, few of the tight end, all of these guys are getting older. Their talent is not as great. The ability to churn it up is even harder, and now everybody's coming at you. So they are fighting through that. They are going through that. Not only that, and I'm not saying there's not elite, because your boy Chris is still a dog. He's a dog. Mm-hmm. But it is harder and harder every year. These guys are getting older, getting a step slower, so now they're more mentally strong, but the athletic ability is not there. But they have, thank God for them, they have great coaches. They still a well-tackling defensive team. They still got that number 15 over there. That can make – is I got the number right?
Yep.
You still got number 15 over there. So you still got those key pieces, and they're trying to fit these young guys in, along with injuries. They sent a right guard.
Trey Smith.
And, yeah.
He's out.
Who is a great interior offensive lineman.
So I'm telling folks, this is about how it's going. Andy is trying to keep this thing together while building his team back around 15 again, because it got away from 15. And what I mean by that is 1 year 15 lit up the Super Bowl. Then the next few times he's been in, it's been the run game with Pacheco. They lit up the Super Bowl. Then the defense took over. So now he's trying to build this thing back towards number 15 because everybody's getting a little older.
If you were Schottenheimer and the Dallas Cowboys, how would you go about approaching this game? Because we just talked about Trey Smith being out. The Chiefs just played an overtime game against the Colts where you had Kareem Hunt, career-high 30 carries, guys banged up, short week, having to travel to Dallas on Thanksgiving, all the festivities and whatnot. Would you just roll your game plan out there or know that, hey, the Chiefs are coming in here, must-win game, I would approach it this way?
The thing is, Dak can't sit home. If he sit in one spot, Steve Spagnuolo going to get him. He going to light him up because what he does is he going to bring either 6 men or 5 men, one more than what you got to block, or he going to zone blitz you. He going to hit you so many different ways with corners, with safeties. But when you into a 3rd and 5, a 2nd and 10, and it's an obvious passing downs, he's trying to tell you where you going to throw the ball at. He's trying to dictate that. I think that what they got to do a little bit more, not a whole lot, roll Dak out. Don't sit there and be
sitting duck
for this guy. Yeah. He's a maniac when it comes to this right here. He's the best at it. He knows. He tried to be a head coach, and he came back and said, you know what, I'm a defensive coordinator. I'm going to be the best defensive coordinator under the #1 offensive coordinator in the league. So Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, bruh, they ready. They are making a run. And the difference between their desperation and the Cowboys' desperation, they know what they're going for, and they know how to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned there that Steve Spagnuolo has a challenge, and he's absolutely challenged. He's been a challenge for Dak. We had done a study on this during the offseason. The defensive coordinator that Dak has struggled the most against statistically in his career, outside of just one-off games he's having, has been the Steve Spagnuolo defense, whether it's been against the Giants or whether he's gotten a chance against the Chiefs. It can be a tough thing. But similarly, the other one that he struggled against was Vic Fangio, and he had a lot of success this past week against them with Philly.
The thing that going to have to happen is he's been manipulated. He's been making our offensive line look better than what it is. But I promise you, just like Denver, you cannot do this here. I promise you now.
And by one, right?
By many ones, baby.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
Antwaun Woods, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll get you out there to practice soon so you can confront Dak about the FaceTime call. That'll be good. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and we will talk to you guys again next week on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.